Welcome back to On the Couch. And of course, I'm your host, Siobhan Clark. I'm sitting on the couch chilling with someone whom I consider to be one of Bermuda's most talented artists, and that is Calix Smith. Welcome, Calix.
Thank you, Siobhan.
How you doing today?
Man, I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm straight.
Now, you were backstage and you heard the conversation that I had with Mr. Fubler.
Right.
You know, what did you think of that? You know, he has a wealth of information. And how would you translate that into visual art?
Well, as far as, you know, the wealth of knowledge he has when it pertains to Bermuda's history, it's like, wow, I was sitting up there and I was saying to myself, oh man, I'm gonna pick this guy's brain, I'm gonna get his contact information and sit over with him, because I think our history is something that we have to know in order to have a higher level of self-worth as a people, you know what I mean? So that's really cool. And, you know, translating Bermuda's history into work, it just depends on the subject matter. Okay. You know, what you're trying to discuss, what you want to convey to people. And I guess what I like to convey is that our history, albeit it has a checkered past, it's still our past, and we can learn from it and progress and be a better people because of it. Just because it's bad doesn't mean that it's gonna make bad happen. Yeah. You know, so that's what's up. And I mean, some of your work has been quite controversial. Did you, am I correct that there was a display at Bermuda Society of the Arts, or Bermuda National Gallery, sorry. You had a display there before? No, not at the National Gallery. I've Society of the Arts? Society of the Arts and Masterworks. I think the most controversial piece so far is the piece that we did called Peace Sign Index Dawn. Yes, okay, at the Masterworks Foundation for the Charmin Prize. Okay. Yeah, it's got a lot of attention. You know, so what types of things did you include in your art for that? That piece was basically talking about institutions and how they keep things in and they keep things out, and how we interact with these institutions and how we feel about them. It's about opening up the conversation. So, you know, I had 9 places that I picked, and basically we went on site. I went with another artist, Evan Smith, who helped me. It was a collaborative piece. Yes. And we went on site and I basically stuck out my middle finger in front of the institution, and it's the reflection of, you know, how people feel sometimes towards these places. Okay. You know, it helps raise attention. It wasn't necessarily for shock value. But I mean, Peace Sign Index Dawn, it's the mood of a generation. Like, you're seeing it, violence, everybody's kind of just out there. Yeah, yeah. You know? And I mean, it's been quite the norm over years that during times of socioeconomic hardship, a lot of artistic people, they sprout or they start producing a lot of art. You know, during the times of revolutions and, you know, the slavery struggles and all of that, many talented people came out of those struggles. Based on what's going on with our climate here, do you see a lot of people maybe contacting you, or you see a lot of local artists sprouting up? Oh, definitely. I mean, the future is bright for the Bermuda art scene. I think we have a generation of artists now who are embracing the individuality on a level that you've never seen before. It's not conservative, it's not uptight, it's just me. This is me, embrace me, and if not, it's okay too. You know, so I really love what's going on. I mean, there are artists in the space right now, you know, from the band. I see Renee Hill in the corner right there. Yes, of course. And it's a beautiful thing, it's a wonderful thing, because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, artists define culture. Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned our band. Of course, we have our the infamous band, current band is our house band, and they're off the chain. Are they? Absolutely. Three phrases: basic colors, abstract, crisp lines. Do you feel that those 3 phrases define your style of art? Not necessarily. I don't think they define my art, because it's ever-changing. I love change. It's the most consistent thing in life. Is that because you're a Sagittarius? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I just think I started that way because there's a lot of realism in the art world now. So, you know, the pink houses and the portraiture. And for me, it's all about the concept and the conversation I'm trying to have with you as the viewer. So it wasn't dumbing it down, but it was deconstructing all of that, because I didn't want somebody coming to the gallery and say, oh, this is a really beautiful piece, and walk on. And, you know, I want them to kind of say, okay, well, what is this about? What is he trying to say to me? I want them to leave the gallery and be like, yo, I just saw this here. You gotta,
so
you gotta talk about this.
Thought, yes.
Yes, instigating conversation, instigating meaningful conversation. This is what it's all about.
Yes.
You know?
And it's interesting that you said that, you know, art, the movement right now is realism, because in film it's called dogma, and that's the idea of realistic filmmaking, moving away from Hollywood.
Right.
And so it's almost as if art in general is going through a special movement where people are honest and straight up and, you know, defining who they are through their artwork.
Yeah, in the visual arts world, you know, contemporary artists are starting to really get out there and be known for what they do, and it's not the atypical aesthetic that we're used to. It's a little different now, and it's a beautiful thing, so we have to embrace it, and we have to embrace all of our artists and show love.
Now, I kind of envision you as a little boy, and I know your mom, and she's very supportive of your work.
Yeah, she's cool people.
And yeah, and I kind of envision you as a child drawing. Have you been drawing ever since you was a little one, and kind of how has your work evolved? That's what I'm really asking.
How has it evolved? I can tell you one thing, like short story, you know what I mean? Me being an artist started from a lie, because my daddy was pretty good at it. Okay. So I got your boy to draw me some pictures, and then I took him to school, and I was like, yeah, I did this. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, you did you? All right, well, you know, show me. And I couldn't. So then I started practicing at my granny's house and everywhere I could be, just drawing, you know, comic book pictures and stuff like that. And then it has progressed into something that I totally love. Now, it's all about the conversation that I want to have, you know, with us as a people. Yeah, I'm a protagonist for change.
Yes.
Like all the violence that we live in, you know, social unrest, whatever you want to call it, is something that can change as long as our people are progressive and galvanized and unified for change, meaningful change.
Yeah. Do you think Bermuda is sort of in a place where we're welcoming change? I know a lot of people are asking questions. What do we do about this, and how can we fix that? Do you think that right now the island is pretty open and accepting of the movements that our younger artists are pushing forward?
I think there are pockets of resistance,
okay,
but you can't run away from change. So it really doesn't bother me whether or not you're on board or not. I don't care.
Yeah.
All I'm worried about is, you know, you living your life in a meaningful way and embracing the people in a meaningful way.
How do you want people to receive your work?
With an open mind.
Okay.
You know, don't come and expect the norms that you have. If you're a person who goes into the gallery spaces and, you know, you see the traditional work that we are known for now, don't expect that, because right now I'm part of a generation that is redefining that. Point blank period. Like, we're redefining our culture, and then I would hope that the next generation would go about doing it as well. So there has to be a progression. So people are seeing it. There are people that are embracing it, and then there are people who aren't, but that's life. And not everybody's gonna love what you do.
What do you say to people who believe that revolution through art is a cowardly way?
They don't know history. That's it. Like, they don't know history and how influential artists have been throughout history. You know, one of my favorite artists goes by the name of Davids, and he was part of the neoclassical movement, and that movement came around during the French Revolution, and his work was based on what was going on, and how he articulated it to people was a beautiful thing. And, you know, you get the people moving, you get them up. And there are many artists who inspired change. Keith Haring in the 1980s, gay rights and talking about apartheid, South Africa. It's there. We are there. We're at the cusp of it all the time. We're on the front lines. Musicians, visual artists, painters, sculptors, whatever you want to call it. Just artists in general. We're there.
Now, I know you took numerous courses at the college. You've even had art on display up there in the gallery. How important is art history to contemporary art?
It's all important. It interplays with one another, you know? You can't refute one, you can't refute the other. They both belong in the same space, pretty much.
Where can we find your work?
Where can't you find my work? Right now, I actually have a piece on display at Common Ground Cafe, and the exhibition is called Black, White, Wow. So this is a group exhibition, and artists were just you know, we were given that phrase to interpret it in our own way. So I chose to, you know, do love and relationships. I like that commentary. I like making that commentary.
You've had quite a few pieces with that conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Like we all seem to think that love is this hard thing, but it's really simplistic. It's just how you embrace it, you know? You get drama from it because you don't go about it in the right way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a true protagonist for love, man.
You're a relationship expert too, evidently.
I don't think I'm an expert. I just, you know, I try and be transparent. I try to be honest.
Yes.
You know, I try to be respectful and just stay humble, you know?
What are your plans in terms of growing your craft even more than it is?
You mean just basically by broadening my horizons, opening myself up to new information, new media, and when I mean media, just materials, because now I'm kind of trying to go away from the canvas and get into installation, and installation is just about, you know, using the whole gallery space and using it as a work of art, as opposed to just hanging a painting on the wall. I can make a sculpture, or I could put paintings in there. I could do whatever I want. So, you know, I just like creative freedom.
France or Italy?
Bermuda.
Bermuda, okay. That's awesome coming from a young black man like yourself.
Yeah, man, I love it here. I love the people. You know, we go through our hard times, but one thing I understand about Bermudians is we're resilient. Very resilient. We're strong people, and I think that's something that we don't forget. So that's why we should know our history.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So your plans from this day forward are?
To basically live my life in a meaningful way, impact this island in the best way I possibly can, and just see where it takes me, man. I'm in, man, you know?
Can we expect art lessons or anything from you in the future, or do you stray away from teaching?
Well, right now, we have a collective going called Baru, Bermudian Artists Rise Up, and you can find us on Facebook.
Okay. And what is it, sorry?
Bermudian Artists Rise Up.
Okay.
Aptly titled Baru. And basically it's a project-based collective of artists of all genres. So we can communicate with one another, and we can put together exhibitions and support one another. Because if we have a galvanized front, or we present a unified front, then people will probably take us a little bit more seriously instead of you trying to doing it on your own.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, put down your individualistic pursuits for the greater good of the future. And that's what that's about. And we'll nurture them as well. But let's show the whole world what we're about. Let's get a spotlight on, you know, this little dot that's so beautiful and as big as a giant, you know?
I agree. Thank you so much, Calix.
No problem, love.
In a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with our next guest on the couch.
Like, if you bring, let me tell you, when you get hit, you get hit. Like, you're not gonna wanna fight because you know, like, what it feels like to get hit.